Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Just the other day, I put out a video about the quote-unquote XRP killer, RTGS Global. So this is like, I don't know, company number 11 billion that has been cited as an XRP killer. It's just as comical as like people proclaiming like Bitcoin has died. Like, have you guys seen this? If not, you should look this up. There's a Bitcoin obituaries website because it's been declared dead so many freaking times, and it obviously is. It is not. It is not dead. And so, likewise, there's just been a crazy, like whether it's Fed now, there's been the JP Morgan coin coming out, Visa B2B Direct, I think that's what it's called. There's all sorts of them. There's all sorts of these different projects out there that are working in the fintech space, and they've all been cited as XRP killers, stablecoins too. Even Tether's been called that. It's completely and utterly ridiculous. And so I made a video just the other day where I took that concept to the wood chipper, right where it belongs, and explained why this. Well, look, RTGS Global. This is the newest one. They may very well find success, but they won't be able to do. And I'm not going to rehash everything from the other video. I've got new content for you, but they're not going to be able to do what Ripple can do in terms of settlement, because they still require liquidity to be available. Like, liquidity has to be available no matter what. But the difference between what they're doing, which is centralizing liquidity in literally central banks, that's their plan. Like, we'll see if they actually have that lined up, and if it actually works, that's kind of their plan. Whereas the liquidity with XRP comes from people that are just trading it. So all that's happening with XRP, and this is the cool part, it's happening anyway, and so on-demand liquidity just takes advantage of the fact that it's happening. You know, it's not the case that banks or central banks would have to hold this stuff, right? And so they're not even trying to fix that problem. They're literally not trying to fix the problem. So no, it's not some sort of XRP killer, but again, they could get traction, which can eat into Ripple's market share. But in terms of real-time payments and settlements, yeah, they're effectively going for the same thing. And so what I've got here is a couple threads here. One of the founders of RTGS Global started talking about XRP, like out of nowhere. And so that definitely caught my attention. It also caught the attention of XRP community member Galgatron, who then started taking the founder to task. And there was a back and forth, and then eventually the founder just kind of went silent. So I think Galgatron may have made some points that he didn't really have a good retort for. So we're going to jump in, but before I explain the content any further and start going through this, if you would please delicately tap that like button, I'd appreciate the support. And also go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. Don't cost nothing, son. Take my free content. All right, so let's go ahead and just jump in here. So Galgatron wrote the following. This is what caught my attention. He wrote, regarding RTGS, read this thread from the top. This is one of the founders of RTGS. Watch as he tries desperately to remove the word Nostro from the conversation and conveniently dodges key questions to illustrate how RTGS is nothing more than another spin on Nostro liquidity. Exactly. And that's why I was cited in my video yesterday. This is basically sleight of hand. To me, it's just disingenuous to say, and they do say that Nostro accounts are no longer needed, but that doesn't paint the picture of what's going on here. And there's still going to be expenses associated with these transactions, because liquidity does have to be dormant somewhere for this plan to work. It just simply absolutely does. And so from the top here, there's a tweet from Andrew Smith, and he indeed is a founding member, you can see right here, of RTGS Limited and Clearbank. I'm all about the tech innovation and doing things different. All tweets are my own, always. And so that's what he wrote about himself there in the tweet. So again, of course, nothing against this guy. He very well may find success with RTGS, but again, it's a closed system, like I cited yesterday, for reasons I won't go into probably in this video. And it's not removing the problem of dormant capital. It simply is not. They don't even seek to do that. And so somebody named Jeff Whitehouse wrote, "Just to confirm equals goodbye to your mentions. They're coming for you." Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I didn't read the first one, did I? Yeah, here we go. I apologize. The first tweet was from Andrew Smith, the RTGS guy, and he wrote, "We are ready to transform the global payments infrastructure with help from our partner Microsoft. Banking, payments, global cross-border infrastructure." Those are the words he had put hashtags on. Oh, and no blockchain nor XRP, just to confirm. So there you go. No XRP, just kind of out of nowhere. So he had caught wind that apparently that there had been some people in the XRP community that had been questioning whether or not XRP would somehow be used which is clearly not the case. If you just read the first article, this Forbes article right here that's on your screen at this moment, they cite no blockchain, period. They're perfectly transparent. So that's not even on the table. So then Jeff Whitehouse wrote, just to confirm equals goodbye to your mentions. They're coming for you. Just kind of funny. Yes, the XRP swarm, the community. We're coming for Andrew. And then so then Andrew Smith responded to Jeff and wrote, more to confirm. I keep on reading that RTGS Global is built on XRP or using the blockchain. It isn't for its core competency. It's all fiat currencies, all real time, and all off of known liquidity. And it plays nicely with your core banking system, smiley face. Okay, and that's there you go. And so that's probably all true as far as the way it's set up. I'll just take them at their word. I don't know to what degree they actually have this even close to turnkey. They make it, their marketing's great. The way that they're positioning this, and they make it sound as though it's a done deal. I'd be shocked if it's a quote-unquote like done deal. I think they have a ton of work to do if they're going to get any traction, but they could, and I certainly am happy to acknowledge that. Kellen Harris wrote, what you think Galgatron? Take Galgatron here, which brought Galgatron in. And this is where it starts to get really, really fun. Galgatron wrote, seems an overlay for correspondent banking, tapping into their Nostro liquidity so respondent banks don't need to provide their own liquidity. It's trying to remove the friction of an antiquated system, but on-demand liquidity will still eventually crush it because of on-demand liquidity's efficiency. Somebody that I blocked put a tweeter, I don't know what it says, and I don't even know who it is. I'm not even going to try and view it. I don't care. This person must have been like a major jerk, though. I don't know who it is, because I've blocked almost nobody on like I've let people say some truly vicious things, like to get Moon Lambo to block you, like you done messed up, like you have done something terrible. So they're highly, they have to be insanely offensive. I've let people just like verbally walk all over me, and I just don't care, because I just like generally anyway. I mean, I do have a line that you can cross, obviously, but it's to me, it's just more like let the public see this. You know, I'm not going to behave like that, and I don't. I really never bring myself down to that level. I'd feel like a caveman if I were doing that. So I just don't. So anyway, somebody wrote something. I don't know what it was. Don't care. Galgatron responded, and you can kind of get it through context. So, do you beat your wait? Is that where it was? Yeah. Do you beat your kids for not being in college by now? Okay. Don't know. And then that person that I blocked wrote something else, don't know what it says, and then if you guys are that curious, go on Twitter, you can check for yourselves. I don't care, I'm not going to look. Galgatron responded to that and wrote, okay, so let's play that out. RTGS becomes the world's go-to cross-border payments platform for every bank in the world, while on-demand liquidity continues its slow pace. End of the world. No, wait. On-demand liquidity finally gets enough corridors and is much cheaper. Bye-bye RTGS. There you go. So it sounds like I blocked whoever this is for good reason here, because even Galgatron's not having fun with this individual by writing, do you beat your kids for not being in college by now? This is funny. Anyway, so and that's kind of the point here. So like, it could just be, as I mentioned the other day, RTGS, maybe they'll find traction, maybe they won't. I don't know for sure. But it could just be a stopgap. And then, as it turns out, if on-demand liquidity indeed is that much cheaper, goodbye RTGS. Because even if RTGS were faster, marginally, it's not going to matter, because it like literally, because they claim to be able to settle everything. The payments to settlement, it's done in 50 milliseconds or something like that, I think they said. Even if XRP, so the XRP ledger takes 3 to 5 seconds, not much faster, but even if you had local rails, that adds a few minutes. If it's substantially cheaper, that is so close to real time, it's not going to functionally matter. Like, if you think about it, if it were way cheaper, would you wait an extra like 1, 2, 3 minutes? And it depends on the local rails. Like, some of it really will be like lightning fast, like snap of the finger. It just depends on the local rails. And so if that's the case, would you wait an extra few minutes to have a transaction that's substantially less expensive? I think I would. Excuse me, I think most people would. And then XRPG, that's how it's meant to be said, wrote the following in response to Galgatron, wrote, what if they reduced costs to compete with private blockchain technology? And Galgatron wrote, they can't. The opportunity cost of their customers' funds being tied up and spread out in multiple foreign accounts and being subject to volatility risk makes on-demand liquidity a no-brainer. And this is where Andrew Smith jumped back in. And Andrew Smith, again, is one of the founders of RTGS here. And he wrote, in response to Galgatron, why? You are assuming that balances are stuck. Again, why? In addition, you are also assuming that the price of a crypto asset is stable, that there is no risk associated with the asset. But there is, since I swapped that digital asset for something else. Fiat. And so he doesn't know how on-demand liquidity works, and he's just illustrated that. So he's going with his business model, doesn't know what their competitor Ripple is doing in positioning XRP to be used as a bridge currency, because the volatility doesn't matter. The volatility, that risk is already being taken by market makers and individuals like you and me if we're buying and selling on exchanges. That's existing liquidity. All we're talking about is tapping into that existing liquidity, because people are going to speculate on everything. They're speculating on stocks, speculating on gold, speculating on silver, speculating on real estate, speculating in the stock market. Okay, that's not going to stop. That is human behavior that is clearly here to stay, and he doesn't understand that it's just tapping into that existing liquidity. And interestingly, it has this cool little effect. I think ultimately we'll see this play out, that more people will be buying and selling knowing that it has to be used for businesses. So it's like this little circular effect that'll keep the ecosystem of XRP continually growing here. He has no clue, which is fascinating to me. He's building out this company, has no clue what a cryptocurrency could do in terms of settlement. Hasn't even considered it clearly, because he's illustrating that he doesn't know how it works. And so somebody named Nick wrote, "Oh my gosh, OMG, you don't even know how on-demand liquidity works. Please research ASAP." And that is exactly how I took it. Nick, you're killing it. Whoever you are killing it there. Andrew Smith responded. RTGS guy wrote, "I get it. To use a blog post," and then he put the a link to Galgatron blog post about how on-demand liquidity works. The Indian bank, so maybe he did a little research from that tweet to the next. I don't know. It's like, oh, right, I don't know anything, but I'm starting a company that's trying to solve payments. Let me learn a little bit more. So he tagged that, and then he wrote, "The Indian bank exchange is selling its resulting XRP due to using on-demand liquidity. Now you are saying the XRP price remains constant the entire time across two different currencies, Mexico and India. It doesn't. Two exchanges, two time zones." Okay, it's over 3 to 5 seconds the ledger closes. And market makers are willing to take that risk. You know? So there's always going to be a little bit of arbitrage, even with stocks. But the SWIFT system is much more risky, even if the fiat currencies are more stable. Over a span of days and days, it's actually less, or more risky rather, and there's been mathematical equations by people that work at Ripple that has proven this. And so Kellen Harris wrote, "Speed? Question mark. Exactly, speed's the factor." And Andrew Smith wrote, "Markets move in milliseconds. Money is made and lost off of having a faster connection than others. So unless all those moving parts completed at atomically the same time, it's not fast enough to remove the changing in value of XRP against those currencies." He has no idea how this works. It's astonishing. This guy is running. He's a founder of RTGS. He does not know how this works. It's astonishing to me. Galgatron responded to Andrew Smith and wrote, "It's not trying to remove said slippage. It's considered part of the cost of the transaction, which is relative to liquidity. For payment sizes, well with available liquidity, slippage may amount to pennies." And Andrew Smith responded, "Slippage, but that's not good. When I send money, I want it to be exact as to does the person receiving the funds. I don't want to receive funds less slippage." And then Galgatron responded, "For RTGS, I'm not sure what part of idle capital kept at foreign banks in foreign currency you're trying to obscure from being identified as volatility risk, but that's what it is. Not to mention opportunity cost of idle capital. Are you suggesting banks won't charge for this?" Exactly. Galgatron absolutely nailing it. There's a cost of having dormant capital, and absolutely whatever fiat currency you have dormant, whatever bank, even if it's a central bank, relative to other currencies, the exchange rate is always going to be varying, right? And so there's a cost associated with it depending on what the fiat currency is. You've seen when there's been runs on fiat currency, like the years ago, the Argentine peso. It's the one that always pops in my head first. And so if you have money parked in the Argentine peso, for example, you just lost a ton of value, right? So it's not good. And so then Andrew Smith responded with the following. "I'm suggesting that you are assuming you think banks hold that balance for long periods when they don't have to. It can be used or traded out in exactly the same fashion, maybe even quicker, than I can get out of XRP at an exchange." That doesn't make sense to me, because you still have to have liquidity available for when these transactions occur. And I admitted yesterday in the video you may need a lot less if it's a lot faster, but you're still going to need it. If you're going to take over the global payments, which today are $5 trillion, yeah, you're going to need a lot of freaking liquidity, my friend. And of course, they're a closed network, so I don't think they have a shot at that even. But Galgatron responded, "I didn't say the banks needed to hold the funds for long periods of time. I've been talking about the friction involved in moving those funds. When all of this is taken into account, it can't begin to compete with the speed of on-demand liquidity. And Andrew Smith wrote, I disagree, since I can auto-trade out those funds at exactly the same speed as an exchange sells my XRP. And since we didn't have that friction at the start of the process, the customer experience is quicker. And then Galgatron responded, how exactly are you going to auto-trade foreign funds in a foreign account? Don't you need to move those funds, in parentheses he wrote friction, onto an exchange? Is that movement free? Is the subsequent conversion free? Is it free to move exchanged funds off the exchange to the sender bank? And that's where the conversation ends, because Andrew Smith chose not to respond, illustrating that there are holes in the business model here and that he does not know how on-demand liquidity works. He absolutely does not. And I even said, like, even if their platform ends up being faster than RippleNet, it functionally won't matter. And I'm not even saying that is true. I'm saying if it ended up being true, it functionally won't matter if RippleNet, including on-demand liquidity, is a way cheaper option. Come on. Like, it's effectively real time already with what Ripple's doing. So, I don't know. I think they very well may find traction, but, you know, and they have great marketing and it sounds impressive. And I got people in the XRP community scared just trying to figure out what's going on. But they're going to have an uphill battle just like any other company on the planet that's trying to change the way that money moves around the planet. And so, good luck. Interesting stuff, though, right? I'd love to know what you think, but I am not particularly worried about this. I mean, it could affect to some degree. If they get traction, yeah, fine. To some degree, it'll affect the adoption of RippleNet. But if on-demand liquidity really is that much better, what do you think's going to win out? So, I'll just leave it there. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything, because if anything that I say or write, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.